Jay, that's strangely close to Daniel Jones from the Giants. Daniel, is that you? Beat the Chiefs. Show me. If the Broncos and Russell Wilson can show me that they can beat the Chiefs, then I will start believing.
The crowd up. And so are this defense, and Kansas City won't snap the ball again. The Denver Broncos have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs.
David Montgomery on the Lions, former Bear, gonna make this his revenge game for sure. David Montgomery gets the touchdown that ices the game. No! And there's the flag. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. Snap. Hold. Kick.
Denver wins! Denver wins! Let's go!
They open. No!
What happened? Oh shit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second half of Buffalo in Jacksonville. We got Buffalo lining up for the field goal. They received the ball to start the second half. And on 4th and 4, the field goal. Good. It's going to be 13-7. And we are going to update the ticker. Bills 13. Jags 7. And we'll add it is the second quarter. I'm sorry, third quarter. I meant second half. Here we go. Is Rick still drunk as fuck? I don't know. It is very possible. It is very possible. I will say that. I have the game on Paramount Plus, and I'm trying to get it on my computer. Let me see. Account. Switch plan. Kyle. Let's see. Profile. Settings. Account. Parental controls, support, legal. How do I log in without knowing my login? Make sure. Okay. Whatever. I got the game on my phone. And that's better than nothing. Why did the Jags give up on running the ball? Is Matt LaFleur secretly calling plays for them? You know, I think it's one of those things where you don't plan on doing it, and then a couple series go by, and next thing you know, the half's over. And you're like, I didn't mean to abandon it, but it just kind of happened. That's why I think when it comes to running the ball, especially when you're behind, you have to be very intentional. If you're not careful, you will just naturally abandon the run game, trying to get a first down. And Jacksonville, really good at stopping the run, and they've been a good running team as well. Buffalo's actually having some success on the ground, and Jacksonville's going to take a knee here. Yeah, Jacksonville's having some success on the ground running the ball. And just a quick look at the box score. We got 51 yards on the ground. Jacksonville's got 100. So I don't know. I guess Jacksonville is running the ball, but it's crazy. It's crazy. What are they averaging? Like 25 yards per carry, and they are not running it. I mean, they already have 100 yards rushing, but Tootin only has 4 carries. ETN only has 3 carries. Here's a quick throw to Parker Washington. In Washington, moving the ball for a first down. Let's see. Jacoby Myers has 12 yards. Parker Washington has 47 yards. Here's a pitch to ETN. ETN's got 10, 20. And yeah, I mean, that's definitely going to be the key to victory right there. Running the damn ball. And I mentioned this last night. You know, Buffalo, they have the number 1 passing defense in the NFL. But it's not because they have a great passing defense. It's because their opponents, on average, have the fewest pass attempts against Buffalo. And you might think, why? Because their opponents lead the NFL in rushing attempts because Buffalo's not good at stopping the run. So teams have been just running the ball 80% of the plays against Buffalo. And it's been working out. It's been a very effective way of beating Buffalo because it keeps Josh Allen on the sideline and burns a bunch of clock, and they can't stop it. So, yeah, it is a little surprising to be in the second half and see ETN with 4 carries, Tootin with 4 carries, and that's it. Even though both of them have 50 yards on those 4 carries. And if Jacksonville, doesn't end up winning this game, that is going to be a major question mark. So good point, Crafty. And they tried to run it here. Nothing. Nothing there on second down. WTF were those last 2 play calls? Those were runs. Here we go, 3rd and 10. Trevor Lawrence looking to throw. Caught. Dropped. Is that going to be a flag? Oh, I thought they might call a flag on that hit. That was either going to be a touchdown. Oh my God, no, he almost intercepted it. Sorry, watching on my phone. I'm going to pull up another way to watch it. See if it's too far behind. They followed up double-digit run with a pass, a designed run, another pass. Designed run. Well, they ran it. They had, what did they run it on? First down, right? But was it Trevor Lawrence? Was it his designed run, or was he just trying to make something out of a busted play? Let's see. How far behind is this stream? Because I'd rather watch it on my computer. Are you kidding me? This is ahead of my stream. Okay, so pirating it is ahead of me watching it on Paramount Plus. So awesome. That's a win-win for me because now we get to watch the game a little bit bigger. Cohen trying to sell the game. Crafty, are you like going for the Jags really hard or something? Are you like invested in this one? You seem really mad. Are you cheering for the Jags? All right. I need a couple things. I need Dalton Kincaid to have 14 more receiving yards, Parker Washington to have 13, Jacoby Myers to have 28, James Cook to run for 23, Josh Allen to run for 6 more, and Trevor Lawrence to run for 20 more. Here is the run, and it's going to go to the 31-yard line. This is it. This is the Bills' last opportunity to win a Super Bowl in their old stadium. Remember, they got a new stadium that's being built. On the other hand, with all of the bad juju that's gone on, I think you could make a strong case that the new stadium is going to be when they, win their first Super Bowl. Is going to be in their new place. They lost 4 Super Bowls in a row at their current stadium. I'm not sure if things are going to turn around this year or not. And I said this earlier. I'm like, I think it's really unfair for Josh Allen because they say, if not now, then never. And I'm like, okay, so they're saying because Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow aren't in the playoffs, then this is his opportunity or it'll never happen. And I think that's BS. First off, it's just super rude to insinuate Josh Allen can't beat those 3 quarterbacks because we've seen Josh Allen lose against those teams and it had nothing to do with Josh Allen. Matter of fact, I think, and I mean this, I think Josh Allen might be the best postseason quarterback I've ever seen. There's great quarterbacks, but as soon as the postseason starts, they're okay. Matthew Stafford is definitely up there. A really good postseason quarterback. Jared Goff, surprisingly, had that one bad third quarter in the NFC Championship, but Josh Allen is insane. Insane in the playoffs. But anyway, this is his worst team he's ever had. So I think it's unfair to be like, if Josh Allen can't take the worst team he's ever had to the Super Bowl because these other quarterbacks aren't in it, then it's never going to happen. It's just manufactured drama to try to, we'll make the game more excited by adding this layer. And it's like the game's exciting enough. We all know Josh Allen wants to win one. We all know that those quarterbacks aren't in it, and maybe that helps him. But also maybe it doesn't because, yeah, those quarterbacks aren't in it, but you know who is? 2 of the best defenses in the NFL with the Texans and the Broncos. Drake May, who's an MVP candidate. Trevor Lawrence, who he's playing right now, who the Jags come in as the hottest team in the NFL. Okay, I mean, is the Mahomes and the Chiefs that we saw last year really better than these other playoff teams that are in right now? I think it's wildly insulting to the teams that are in the playoffs. It's insulting to Josh Allen because it insinuates that, you know, the reason that he hasn't won one is because he can't beat those quarterbacks, and now that they're not there, he should have no problem. And 3, this is the worst team Josh Allen's ever had. So it's just unfair pressure. Like, hey, these other teams that are in the playoffs, they're okay, but they're not Mahomes. So if you can't take the worst team to the Super Bowl, you suck. Okay. I think Allen's career will play out like Stafford's. He won't win until he ends up on a team that he doesn't have to carry on his shoulders. I've always said something similar, but for me, it was Elway. I've always felt like Josh Allen was gonna be like Elway. Um, I'm not sure, like, Josh Allen is ever gonna leave Buffalo. I think Josh Allen's probably gonna be a Bill forever. But, I mean, look, Stafford's a weird example in that the Lions rarely made the postseason, you know? They were never a Super Bowl favorite, and that's why it's kind of a weird example because to me, like, it would have to be a quarterback that never goes to the playoffs. Like, I think Joe Burrow would be a great example for Matthew Stafford. But even he's had more success than Stafford ever had in Detroit as far as postseason success. Um, I'm trying to think of a better example. Maybe Trevor Lawrence until Liam Cohen came would have been a good example for Stafford, honestly. But look, at the end of the day, Josh Allen has had success. I mean, that's why it reminds me of Elway because it's like Elway made it, to Super Bowls, which Josh Allen hasn't, but he won playoff games. They were the favorite. They had a good fan base. It was like every year they felt like it could be the year. That's really like it just reminds me exactly of what Elway's career was like in the 90s, in the 80s, late 80s. Speaking of John Elway, back to back, how John Elway rode off on the sunset. That's what I think Josh Allen. I think we're also, like, always looking to compare a player to another player, even though they're all completely unique. I mean, Josh could win one this year, and then, that whole analogy just goes out the window. But at this point in his career, I think the closest comp is John Elway. Even play style, you know? The play caller and him not seeing eye to eye, Ken Dorsey getting fired, getting a new play caller and Joe Brady, like, there's just so many parallels. Here's 3rd and 5. Caught. Brian Thomas Jr., first down. Good coverage, but it looks like, Lawrence is just able to float that ball perfectly, kinda layer it in between the corner and the safety there. Here we go, going quick, and they're gonna pitch it here, and it's gonna be a gain of 3. So, just like that, there's only 2 minutes left in the game. Now, Colin Cowherd this week was saying, "I think, Jacksonville is, like, the best bet this week." It was the Rams and Jacksonville, like, Jacksonville is gonna, roll the Bills. I don't think the Bills are good and all this, and I'm like, "You know what? You just really can't simulate playoff experience, and that is something that this team does have, Jacksonville. They do. Some of them do. Some of them were on the team against the Chargers when they came back from, what was it, 27-0? Something similar to that. I think it was 27-0. And Lawrence had 4 picks in the first half. I think 3 of them were all to Asante Samuel Jr., and Jacksonville comes back and wins this game. Some of them were on the team, but, like, Buffalo goes to the playoffs every single year. You got a team that's much more experienced. Here's pressure coming. Lawrence gets rid of it, and it's caught. To the 18-yard line. You can't simulate the experience. Also, you got a rookie head coach in his first playoff game, which I think whenever you have a rookie head coach that had a lot of regular season success, I think it gets lost on people that there's this other element that they're a rookie head coach in their first playoff game. Like, don't think that just because they had a great regular season that's not an issue at all. I mean, these guys are throwing up before the game starts. It's a factor. It's a factor when you're on your own 45-yard line and you're down 3 and it's 4th and 3 and you want to go for it. It's a factor. You're not just reacting. Your inner dialogue, you're thinking, okay, am I not calling this game appropriately? Because the finality of losing a playoff game is why you don't see people go for 2 for the win at the end of a playoff game. You just don't, because you would never want to leave your season up to a 50-50 coin flip, which statistically is what a 2-point conversion is. So you just don't see teams take the same type of risks that you see them take in the regular season. Playoff games are called differently. So when you get a coach that's never been in a playoff game, kind of roll into one, it adds another element of difficulty for that team. And right now, Sean McDermott is clearly the more experienced coach. So gosh, would somebody just send me man, I'm selling something on Marketplace, and it's like everybody keeps asking so many questions. It's like, look, I listed it as cheap as it is, so you could just buy it as is, right? There's no mystery pictures that I didn't share of other parts. Awesome. Look at this. I only need James Cook to have 1 more yard for my 25 cents to turn into $1.17. Watch out. Sorry, Woody. Sorry, buddy. You're a good boy. You're the best boy in the whole wide world. Don't let anybody tell you different. All right. 13-10. It's funny. I withdrew all of my money from my FanDuel account, but I left 20 cents. And I'm challenging myself to see if I can turn 20 cents into like hundreds of dollars. So I started off with the 25-cent bet, and it pays out $1.17. And I need James Cook to have 1 more yard, and then I can place a 50-cent bet. PJ Walker, 2nd and 6, lunges his body I think he picked up the first down, and now it's gonna be goal to goal. Yeah, he got it. Man, Parker Washington, ever since that Broncos game, he really has just played a huge role. You've seen a little less, just a little bit less of, Jacoby Myers and a lot more Parker Washington. Even in the run game, you get him in motion, they're using him like a Deebo Samuel. Here is a QB sneak. Trevor Lawrence picks it up. First and goal from the 5-yard line. Here's an opportunity for Jacksonville to take the lead. And this is an interesting part of the game. You enter the fourth quarter, and if you don't get a touchdown in the next 3 downs, you kick the field goal and tie the game, or do you go for the touchdown to take a 4-point lead? These are the exact type of decisions that I just teed up for you about Liam Cohen in his first playoff game. Hopefully, if you're Jacksonville, it doesn't come down to a 4th down. Here's first down. It's a designed run, and Buffalo not fooled at all. And he came a couple inches away from getting back to the line of scrimmage. But look at this. This was, I mean, there was 3 Bills. Liam Cohen pissed off about that play. Man, Liam Cohen all year was my favorite head coach in this cycle. Here's second down. Trevor throwing end zone. Touchdown. Parker Washington. Who else? Liam Cohen calling designed runs like he's Mike Kafka. So there it is. And look, this seems like a no-brainer extra point. Look, there's something to be said about there being no pressure on a kicker when he's kicking a 70-yard field goal, because if you miss it, it's like, who cares? You missed it. You're just out there, you're playing free and having fun and showing off, if we're being honest. But you saw when this quarter was coming to an end, a 54-yarder in a playoff game. This guy is still a little kid. Like, he's still a very young person that's never played in this type of pressure. And you're seeing he missed the kick, and everyone goes, how do you miss a 50-yarder and you got no problem booting a 70-yarder in the preseason? Does anybody really need to answer that? I mean, come on, think about it. First off, like I said, a 65-yard field goal, 66 to 70, those are no-pressure kicks because no one's expecting you to make it. If you make it, it's super cool, but it's kind of like shooting a half-court shot. It's not like, pressure's on. If you miss this, like, you're going to have a lot of explaining to do. But a 40-yard field goal with the game on the line, I guarantee you Cam Little would rather kick a 67-yard field goal with the game on the line than a 52-yard field goal with the game on the line. Because one of those kicks gives him an out if it doesn't go in. So, I mean, Cam Little, we have an injury. I said all this to say, like, this extra point, and not just this extra point coming up, but every field goal from this point on, we're going to see Cam Little for the first time. Like, we're going to see what he's made of, right? We know he's got a big leg. We know he has a big leg. But is he clutch? Like, truly playoff level clutch? I mean, look, the playoffs, as far as kickers are concerned, the playoffs are where stars are born. Whether you're talking about the Patriots, Adam Vinatieri, remember him in the playoffs? Remember his Super Bowl? I think that was like the only Super Bowl I've ever seen where there was like a last-second field goal made. I think it was the Panthers Super Bowl where Justin Timberlake was like, I'll have you naked by the end of this show and rip the shirt off. And then my dad was like, go upstairs and clean your room. And I didn't understand what was going on. Sorry. Well, Justin Tucker. Even what's his name for Kansas City? Bucker. Brandon McManus. I was saying yesterday, he missed 2 field goals yesterday, but in his glory days, dude made every kick in the Super Bowl 50 run. I think he went like 12 for 12. So the postseason for kickers is really where the star is born. Here's a snap. Hold, kick is right up the middle. Perfect. All right. That was a major kick, and he had no problem with it. There wasn't a doubt about it. So that's good that he was able to shake off that last one. Now, Al Michaels isn't calling the game, so we might actually hear the correct name of the injured player. By the way, it was announced last night that Al Michaels is returning for another year. He said he's feeling great, and he's at the top of his game right now. So he will be back next year. Look at this. Look at this playoff picture. So if Buffalo wins, New England wins. If Buffalo wins and New England wins, Denver's playing Buffalo, period. It doesn't matter what happens in the Texans-Steelers game. You know, it doesn't. If every home team wins, then Denver plays Pittsburgh. Yeah, if I could pick 2 opponents, it would be Buffalo or Pittsburgh. So, yeah, I'm going for Buffalo. Now, if Buffalo loses this game and Jacksonville wins, I want to play Jacksonville again. Absolutely want to play Jacksonville again because I know for a fucking fact that our team was just not in it. Like that would it's the NFL. It happens, right? You have a Sunday when you're not at your best, they're at their best. You've won 13 games in a row and eventually you lose one. And I would like a rematch if possible. There's James Cook with a run, and that will get me the yards. There we go. Right, I turned 25 cents into $1.17. All right. Let's see. This is Buffalo's 8th drive. I'm going to say it ends in a, let's go, field goal attempt. Fakes the handoff. Allen looking, and then just dangerous pass. Dangerous pass, to be honest. Yeah, good pressure. Josh Allen does a good job not taking a sack there. And every time I try to place it. Here we go. I actually friends with one of Jacksonville's cheerleaders. Her name's Mandy. Here we go. 3rd and 4, quick throw. There it is, Dalton Kincaid. It's a massive conversion right now. At this point in the game, that's exactly what you want to see. Massive. Here we go. Kincaid now with 13 receiving yards. Look at Josh Allen, 177 yards, 20 for 26. Ever since Joe Brady came, people don't realize that this is really like Josh Allen's average, 177 to 200 yards. Here's a throw, caught. And look at that. It's Dawson Knox. 24 yards. Look at that. Look at that. You got a linebacker, and it's just a perfect throw by Josh Allen. Fakes the handoff, rolls out the other way. Little play action fake. Jacksonville with their good run defense, expecting a run there on an early down. That's what happens when you stay committed to the run against the best run defense in the NFL. You open plays like that up. 1st and 10, Allen, middle of the field, and it's dropped by Gabe Davis, the superstar of the AFC divisional round against Kansas City, who had 4 touchdowns. It is a great throw, and it should have been caught. And Gabe Davis is hurt. Gabe Davis. Looks like he got hit kind of low, didn't it? Looks like, God, it looks like he got hit directly, like, at the knee. Jesus. Such a weird time with the NFL because it's like you got these guys trying not to go too high, and then next thing you know, they're diving at people's knees. All right, Keon Coleman comes back into the alignment. Brandon Cooks. Love to see it. Let's see what happens here. Empty backfield. Now the motion. Quick throw. And that was cool. Shakir that caught it. He tried to catch it and spin away to get some yards after the catch, but he couldn't. So it's going to be a gain of 4. Now, this is obviously part of the field where a field goal isn't something you should deny, right? You kick a field goal, give the ball back to Jacksonville, they score, you're still a touchdown 2-point conversion from a tie. You go for it on 4th, don't get anything, and they score, you're down 10 points, brother. Also, you get a 3 and out on Jacksonville, get the ball back, a field goal wins the game. Like, look at this designed run. Josh Allen. Why did he do that? He started his slide. I don't know. Yeah, he gave himself up a yard short, and that's just they got the playoff, but then they blow the whistle and say he didn't. Liam Cohen throws the flag. Dude, Josh Allen, when has he ever been afraid of contact? I mean, he's looking right at the line to gain, and that's just frustrating because, like, I've seen Josh Allen lower his shoulder and just pummel people on a meaningless Week 4 game against a 2-win team. Now, here you are in the playoffs on a key 3rd down in the 4th quarter, down 4 points, and you do that. We got the one, the only, the great, even legendary, some would say, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. Happy Sunday, brother. Let me know who you're going for in the chat. I feel very confident Crafty is going for Jacksonville, although he did never specify when I asked him. I love you, Woody. You're a good boy. He's like, what's that? Did you say you love me? I did. I did say that. I love you. I think you're a good boy. You're a good dog. You're a good boy. Yes, you are. You're my best friend. I love you so much. You want to give me a kiss, Libby? I love you. a good boy. High five. High five. High five. No high five for me? High five. High five. Yeah, high five. Thank you, Woody. He's like, fine, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll give you your high five. Good boy. I can't believe Bad Bunny's doing the halftime show. My brother's actually a huge fan. All right, here it is, 4th and 1. Call gets reversed. Josh Allen under center. Here we go. First down. Wow. He needed 1 yard and picked up 5. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you got a guy like that. I don't know. Like, you could make a real case that it would have been better for Josh Allen to slide, avoid a big hit by a linebacker, and just do a tush push. Three rushes, 5 passes, 50 yards in 3 minutes. Here we go. Quick fakes to throw. Downfield. Got a man. Kincaid. Touchdown. Buffalo gets in. And Kincaid comes up limping. But he's okay. He's okay. The Bills go and take the lead. I would be interested in a 2-point conversion. I wouldn't go for 2 for the win. I just wouldn't do that. But I would go for 2 right here. In a moment like this, taking a 2-point lead, I'm going for 2 to make it a 4-point game. There's enough time where if they kick a field goal and take a 1-point lead, you get the ball back. We won a game. You know, you guys, the most pivotal turning point of our entire season was week 5 at Philly. We were down 21-3 in that game. And the Broncos were able to score a touchdown, and they scored another touchdown, and it was 17-21. Then they scored another touchdown, and there was like 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and an extra point would have made it 24-21, and Sean decided to go for 2. And everybody was like, why is he going for 2? I mean, why wouldn't you just take the extra point to go up 3 instead of being up 2? Well, he had a play in his pocket, goes for 2, gets the 2-point conversion. Fast forward, Philly's driving down. They're in field goal range, but they have to throw a Hail Mary because a field goal doesn't win the game because that 2-point conversion put them up 4. And from that moment on, we didn't lose until week 17. So, or week 16. From week 5 to week 16, and we actually won the week before that too. So week 4 to week 16, we won. But that 2-point conversion against Philly really sparked the entire run. And I guess that's why Buffalo, they just found themselves in the exact situation we were against the Eagles. And I just know how much a 2-point conversion. Like, I'm not a fan of going for 2 for the win at the end of a game with the finality on the line, but if you already have a lead and you already have, like, I would be less inclined maybe if there was 2 minutes left in the game, because if you don't get it and they kick a field goal, the game's over. Like I said, it's the fact that there's, 8, almost 9 minutes to go in this game, right? That is why I would go for 2. It's really a no-brainer to me because no matter what Jacksonville does, and no matter whether you get the 2-point conversion or not, there's enough time. It's just like the upside of getting a two-point conversion. There's just too much upside and too little of risk. Wow. It's the first time I've ever seen that stadium full. Saying I've been to more Jacksonville Jaguar games than any other franchise, any other team. Look at this, bobbled the kick, able to pick it up and get to the 23. Could have been a disaster. All right, well, we haven't seen much Jacoby Myers. He's only got 12 yards. Gabe Davis being carted off the field, and like I said, it was very obvious when he got hit that that was not a regular hit. 1st and 10, see if it's Brian Thomas Jr. and Parker and ETN, or if Jacoby gets going. Here's a throw, and it was intended for Parker Washington, but it wasn't close to Parker Washington. So 2nd and 10. It sucks, man. It fricking sucks because, like, he gets an opportunity to come here, and that's the same leg that he had an injury on, and it's not even like he re-aggravated it, on his own. Like, anybody would have got injured on that play. Look at ETN taken off to the 39-yard line as we hit the 8.5-minute mark. And this is when Buffalo as a defense is gonna need to step up. I mean, I feel like the defense for Jacksonville is I feel like the offense for Buffalo, I'll say it this way, is done enough. And I think the defense for Buffalo's been holding, but, not one of these teams has really got usually at this point in the game, you kinda have, like, a, inclination of who you think is gonna pull away. This is one of those games where, yeah, there's 7 minutes and it's 7.5 minutes left in the game, and it's anybody's game. I mean, isn't that just playoff football? I mean, we saw the Panthers and Rams game come down to a go-ahead touchdown in the fight with less than a minute to go. We saw the Bears make a insane comeback to win in the last seconds. Now we got this game that's anybody's. Welcome to the wild card round. This is why I love the playoffs. This is why you love the playoffs. We've had years in the past where we get blowouts in the wild card round. Remember Green Bay beating the brakes off of the Cowboys. I think Dallas, or I'm sorry, I think the Texans beat the crap out of the Chargers last year, and then the Ravens beat the crap out of the Texans. We talked about it all year. You know, all the critique for Denver winning all these close games. Eventually, you wanna see them pull away in one. But the fact of the matter is there's never been this many games decided by 3 points or less in the history of the NFL. The parity is real, and we're seeing it play out in the postseason. 3rd and 8, rolling to his right, there's a flag. This is gonna be a first down. This is going to be pass interference on Strange, and that's gonna give Jacksonville a first down with 7 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Wow. It's gonna be holding to be exact, 1 second. Dang. Buffalo's sending pressure there. Yeah, that was a really good no call. Here we go. Trevor Lawrence going deep. He's got a man. It's caught. Parker Washington. Wow. This is why I would have gone for 2. They score a touchdown, and you need, think about it. If they score a touchdown, you need to score a touchdown, right? You can't kick a field goal. You'd be down 4 if Jacksonville scored a touchdown. So if you would have gone for 2 and gotten it, then if you didn't get it and they kicked a field goal, you would need to score a touchdown. But at least you would have Jacksonville in a situation right now where a field goal would do no good for them. There's just so much upside to a 2-point conversion. There's just really it's like playing with house money. Man, this is coming down to the wire here. 2nd and 5, handoff, ETN. Can he get the edge? Bounced off of a pretty significant hit, and he's going to be about a yard short. So big 3rd and 1. Big 3rd and 1. Woo, ETN picks up the 1st down. There we go. Here we go. 1st and 10. ETN. Touchdown. 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 Here's the other thing, and I swear I'll stop talking about the 2-point conversion. If they would have gotten the 2-point conversion, then Jacksonville's extra point right here, Buffalo would be able to kick a field goal and tie it. I mean, that's 3 different layers of why a 2-point conversion is huge. I'll leave it alone. I pretty much beat the dead horse there, but let me make sure I write them all down though. Number 1, enough time for another possession regardless. Forces Jacksonville to need a touchdown. Number 2, it forces Jacksonville to need a touchdown in order to take the lead. Number 3, if you don't get the 2-point conversion, and Jacksonville, say it was 20, let's say you don't get the 2-point conversion, so it's 19-17. Yeah. So it's like you get the 2-point conversion and it's 21-24. You don't get the 2-point conversion and it's 19-24. So you're either down 4 or 5. Here we go. Big return. 30-34. Here we go. If you don't get the 2-point conversion, here we go. Handoff on 2nd and 2 goes for 1. Oh, that's close. Where are they going to spot this 3rd and 1? Here we go. All right, here's the virtual measurement. And the virtual measurement says 1st down. By just the tip. Just the tip. 2 minutes and 42 seconds. A field goal does no good because Buffalo wouldn't go for 2. It'd be huge if a field goal tied the game. Here we go. Pressure coming. Allen taking a shot. He's got an open man. All the way down to the 20. And the Bills are in the red zone because of Cooks. And we're going to the 2-minute warning. And Buffalo is 20 yards away and 2 minutes away from the go-ahead touchdown. And if Buffalo scores to make it 27-24. Oh my God, there's just so many layers to it. Like if they went for 2, oh my God, I can't. I keep seeing another thing that this would have helped. See, if they got the 2 and were only down by 3, 21-24, and scored a touchdown, then they would go up 28-24, and Jacksonville, with less than a minute to go, would have to score a touchdown, and a field goal wouldn't tie the game. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many dynamics to it. And of course, you could easily just say, yeah, but I mean, if they didn't get the 2 and the Bills scored on this next drive, then Jacksonville could kick a field goal and win by 1. And it's like, yeah, but Buffalo, in that case, if they didn't get the 2 and they scored right here, they would go for 2 again. And statistically, it is a 50-50 play. So if they didn't get the first one, chances are they get the second one and make it a 3-point game. So like I said, we're still playing with house money here. And I think this is something that is going to, maybe it's going to take 5 more years, but 9 minutes to go, teams are going to select to go up by 4. Here we go. Wow. 1st and 10. Both teams have all 3 timeouts. Allen rolling to his right, then dumps it off to Knox. That's an amazing throw by Josh Allen. 1 minute, 27 seconds. Both teams not calling any timeouts. Quick throw. And now you're going to get a timeout by Jacksonville. I don't know how Jacksonville cannot use a timeout. I was going to say, Buffalo could run this down to 27 seconds, and that's still plenty of time with 3 timeouts when you only have to run 3 more plays. Jacksonville needs to keep the opportunity to possess the ball in case Buffalo scores. I know it's not ideal to call a timeout on 3rd and 4 when they could pick up a first down, but you really just don't have a choice. Like letting the clock roll down to 27 seconds, It's just not an option right now. Here we go. Third and 4. Jacksonville showing pressure, a quick throw, and it's going to be a yard short. And I would call a timeout if I'm Buffalo. If I'm the official, stop the clock. So good call not using a timeout for Buffalo. Let's see. You got to extend that ball, man. He's going to be inches short. I feel like it's got to be a tush push. When has Josh Allen been denied an inch on a tush push? He got it. Oh my God. A tush push just took him to the 1 yard line. Oh my God. Touchdown. That's I don't think that was a touchdown, and I don't think Buffalo wants it to be a touchdown. It's not even remotely close to a touchdown. Wait, if he went down and he rolled on a body, hold on, he's not down yet. Is he? Is he? We. Yeah, I feel like Jacksonville would prefer Buffalo to score right there. Then they have a minute and 2 seconds to kick a field goal. And now Jacksonville's going to call a timeout. If I'm Buffalo, I would take a knee. If I'm Buffalo, I'm taking a knee here on first down. Like, not a knee where you lose a yard. I'm talking about like a QB sneak type of knee where you're not really trying to get it, but you're not trying to lose yards. And make him call that final timeout. On second and goal, I'm doing it again. That's right. I'm giving myself 2 plays to get 1 yard. I'm calling my timeout after second down. With 20 seconds left in the game, I'm calling my timeout. That's how I would play this. First down, just make them burn that timeout. Second down, just do it again. Watch the clock. Wait for it to go down to 20 seconds. And then give yourself 2 plays to pick up that 1 yard and give the ball back to Jacksonville with 15 seconds left to need a field goal. See, the way Josh Allen was running the ball, I just wouldn't have scored that quick. I don't understand why Buffalo. The situational football has just not been great for Buffalo. The 2-point conversion that they didn't go for earlier in the game that would make this a 4-point game right now. The fact that they don't understand how valuable burning another 40 seconds off the clock would be here when you have a quarterback that continues to pick up 5 to 10 yards every time you run a 1-yard tush push. I mean, in your 1 yard out, what are you worried about? Oh. I bet the last one was the Chiefs and Bills. Tony Romo is the only one that believes the Bills can win the Super Bowl this year, besides Buffalo fans. These two teams can win the Super Bowl, right? What about New England? What about Denver? I mean, what about Houston and their defense? Look, if you're in the postseason, you can win the Super Bowl, period. Only 7 teams allowed. $23-yard line. No timeouts for Jacksonville. Why does Jacksonville not have a timeout? Because they did the tush push and it ended up in a touchdown and they had 1 timeout. They called their first timeout on 3rd down. Then they called their second timeout after the 4th down. And then on 1st down, they scored. They should have 1 timeout. I don't get it. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Buffalo's going to win this game. Buffalo's going to win this game. Interception. The Bills have done it. The Bills have just done it. And everybody that was so confident and, oh, Jacksonville this, Jacksonville that, it's over. It's over. Buffalo has done it. Man. I mean, the ball just gets tipped, and it was Jacoby Myers. It's Jacoby Myers. It's not like a terrible throw. And you can't blame Jacksonville, man. They're a small market team. This is what small market teams do. Small market teams lose. You can't blame Jags. They're just a small market. Holy crap. Damn. Wow. Wow. Not bad for a small market team. You see, that this is the kind of crap that happens when you aren't paying attention to the right kind of stuff. Jacksonville so badly wanted to create this narrative that they were this disrespected team. And it was never true. You know, going all the way back to week 16 when they came into Denver and Sean said, what Liam Cohen has done for that program is amazing. You know, it's hard for small market teams to have major turnarounds because free agents typically don't want to go to destinations where there's a small market and they're a losing team, which Jacksonville had been a losing team for multiple years. And it was a compliment. And next thing you know, they're printing T-shirts, and Liam Cohen's in the press conference going, "Yeah, we didn't do bad for a small market team." It's like, what do you guys? Why are you guys offended about a fact? There's big market teams and there's small market teams. Los Angeles, New York, Chicago. These are big market teams. And small market teams, you know, Cleveland, Green Bay, Jacksonville. Now, some small market teams have a long history and their roots are so deep in the city that people want to go there because of the history. But small market teams that were created in the late 90s, this is a totally different ball game. It's very difficult to make it a destination, a free agent destination. So, like, what was actually a compliment, not even a backhanded compliment, a compliment, period. Next thing you know, they're printing T-shirts off about it. And I just felt like Jacksonville was just focusing on the wrong shit, man. They're just focusing on the wrong shit. They're trying to create something when there was nothing there. And it's like, look, I get it. Like, whatever you need to give yourself like an edge, right? Tom Brady used to find, you know, anything that he could use for a competitive advantage. But there's also a line where it's just like, man, this is kind of distracting. And it didn't matter because Jacksonville was the hottest team in the league. But like I said, Buffalo was the more experienced team. They went in and they beat them, period. Tipster Lawrence strikes again. Honestly, Travis Hunter catches that. I didn't think it was a terrible ball. I didn't. I think it should have been caught. And it's crazy, too, because Jacoby Myers has been so clutch. And, man, Trevor Lawrence just got his grills. Obviously, he can't wear those now. He probably had plans to wear them in the post-game press conference, but unfortunately, now those will stay in the case, and Jacksonville will, I would say, go back home, but they're already home. And this changes things in a huge way now, because all of a sudden, it's kind of set up now where the Texans game in the Texans and Steelers game, it doesn't matter anymore. The Chargers either win and we play the Chargers, or they lose and we play Buffalo. That's it. But this time, it's not the wild card round, and this time it's in Denver. Remember last year, we played Buffalo and got spanked. I actually like the way we match up against Buffalo. Looks like Jags prematurely celebrating a prospective Super Bowl run. Some things never change. Very true. Very true. Man, the finality of it is wild. I mean, you got an entire minute to take the ball. I mean, you got Cam Little, right? I mean, you really just got to take the ball 30 yards and you got a makeable field goal. And you got a minute to do it. And, I really believe that everybody in that stadium felt like Jacksonville was going to get in field goal range. Whether the kick was going to be made or not, nobody knows. But that is the brutal thing. They say Mother Nature is so unforgiving. The NFL playoffs are unforgiving, man. It is brutal. You're a minute away, 30 yards, you get the field goal, you're at home, you win a coin toss, you're feeling good, and you throw a pick on the first play, and the season's over. And it's like, I mean, it's like, even if you're not a Jacksonville fan, just as like a fan of, what it's like to whoever your favorite team is, you can sympathize with that All right. And sorry about that. My computer died. Great game. Great game. Jacksonville loses. We had 5 lead changes in the fourth quarter, which tied a postseason record. They didn't say which one it tied, but I'm assuming it was the Bills in Kansas City in 2021. You know which one I'm talking about. 12 seconds. That's all I got to say. But hey, great game. Jacksonville, like I said, feel like they lost focus a little bit. Worried about being a small market team. Trevor Lawrence, 2 interceptions, 3 touchdowns. I feel like Buffalo really played the exact type of game they wanted to play against Jacksonville. Now, Buffalo's not a team that wants to get into a shootout. They're just not that type of a team. But they were still able to score 27 points. They didn't go a single quarter without scoring at least a field goal. They scored 2 touchdowns. Both teams scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. And really, both teams scored 3 points in the third quarter. Both teams scored 7 points in the second quarter. The difference in this ball game was Buffalo scoring 3 points in the first quarter and Jacksonville not scoring in the first quarter. And that is sometimes when you go back and look at a game where you see, man, people always say we got to emphasize starting fast. I mean, like this game was exactly tied in every quarter except Buffalo +3 in the first quarter and Jacksonville going scoreless, which turned out to be the difference. But this simplifies things in a big way because, like I said, the first seed is obviously the Broncos. They're going to play Buffalo unless the Chargers win. If the Chargers win, they play Chargers. I mean, it is pretty simple. And that would mean that the Patriots would play the Bills. So it'd be Bills, Patriots, Broncos, Chargers, which is very fitting for the divisional round, right? 2 divisional games. If you were to ask me, like, who would you rather play, the Chargers or the Bills? I think it would be the Bills. But then again, maybe the Chargers. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I'm watching Buffalo today, and I'm like, is there anything that they're doing that's, like, mind-blowing? No, but isn't Josh Allen just incredible? Like, but I don't know. You know, we just got to play whoever we play. But we're going to have the answers here in 3 minutes. So I'm going to close this down. I got to open up. We got a fucking playoff game coming up right now. So Eagles, 49ers. I told you the 49ers are going to win this game. I've tripled down on it. I can't triple down anymore. That's the way it's going to be. Trent Williams in, Lane Johnson out. Could that be the difference? We're going to find out here in a second. I'll see you guys on the 49ers stream. I hope so.